He was covered in mud, dried blood on his nose, hands shaking, eyes empty. He hadn't slept in 2 days. He had just lost everything. But right there, on his knees, is where everything started to change. Today, Logan West gets up at 4 a.m., runs 6 miles before sunrise, runs his own business, feeds his mind, faces the day with the strength of someone who's seen rock bottom. No one came to save Logan. He rebuilt himself, alone, brick by brick. But you didn't see what he went through. You didn't see the failures, the fear, the abandonment. You didn't see the moment he almost jumped. Now you will. Logan West woke up at 11:43 a.m. again. The alarm had gone off at 6. He just hit snooze. His life felt stuck. A boring replay. No color, no future. But that day, something changed. And it wasn't luck. It was the last fall before the first real choice. Logan stood in front of the mirror for the 3rd time that day. He didn't even know what he was looking for, just that whatever he saw wasn't him. Unshaven, red eyes, heavy bags under them, pale skin, a blank stare. It was like time had passed him by without warning, leaving behind nothing but exhaustion. He didn't even remember what it felt like to have energy. His whole body hurt, his chest, his pride. He'd hit the snooze button with disgust. Kept telling himself he was just tired, that it was just a phase. But the phase never passed. He'd wake up late ashamed, skip meals ashamed, drag himself through the day, stacking excuses, covering up stagnation with pretty words. It's not the right time. I'm just trying to align my mindset. I just need a little more time. Lies dressed up as deep thoughts. And every time someone asked how he was doing, Logan hit them with the classic, "I'm fine, just tired." But it wasn't tiredness. It was giving up disguised. He kept hoping that someday something or someone would pull him back. A mentor, a girlfriend, a video, a book. But nothing happened, and no one came. The truth started leaking through the cracks in his routine. He was alone, and it was his fault. Life never made any promises. No one signed a contract saying the world would be fair. And it was there, in that mirror, in silence, that Logan realized something nobody ever wants to say out loud. You're not going to be saved. Not by the government. Not even by God if you don't move. Not by your parents. Not by some motivational video. Your life is yours. The hole you're stuck in, you dug it yourself. That was the raw truth. Logan was failing. But now, for the first time, he knew exactly who was responsible. It didn't come from a motivational video. It didn't come from reading a book. It wasn't a heart-to-heart talk or a wake-up slap from a friend. The shift happened in silence. Alone, Logan was sitting on the kitchen floor, surrounded by empty wrappers and dirty dishes. The only light was from the open fridge. Something broke inside him that night. And no, it wasn't a mental breakdown. It wasn't desperation. It was clarity. For the first time, he saw what was really going on. He wasn't unlucky. The universe wasn't out to get him. He was tearing himself down, one habit at a time. Every snooze button, every delayed promise, every polished excuse, every "I'll start tomorrow." Logan realized he'd become his own worst enemy. The life he dreamed of was sitting on the other side of decisions he'd been dodging for years. And then came the question, not the cliche, "What do you want out of life?" but a real one, cold, brutal. How long are you going to keep living like a victim? That one hit hard. Logan remembered everything he had ever blamed. His childhood, his parents, school, the system, anxiety, no time. It was always someone, always something. Never him, but there on that cold floor, smelling like old food. He got it. Nothing changes until you do. No one's going to hand you time. No one's going to gift you energy. No one's going to slip discipline into your back pocket. All there is choice. The choice to keep being the same or to face the cost of change. For the first time, Logan didn't look for comfort. He didn't look for motivation. He looked for a mirror. He stared at himself, and this time, he didn't look away. The next day, Logan woke up at 6 a.m., not because he was hyped, but because he was sick and tired of being who he was. He got out of bed like someone climbing out of a shallow grave. His body felt heavy. His mind was screaming. He walked to the sink, splashed cold water on his face, looked at his reflection again. It was still him, but something had shifted. This time, he took action. He started small, made the bed, did the dishes, wrote down, "Today I start even if I don't feel like it." There was no soundtrack, no epic quote, just silence and resistance. On the 3rd day, he wanted to quit. His body ached. The old habits whispered his name, but he pushed through. Not out of bravery, but because not pushing through meant going back to that hole, and he knew exactly what rock bottom smelled like. He'd memorized it. Logan started walking in the dark, and no one clapped. His friends didn't notice. His family didn't get it. His life was still a mess, only now there was a tiny flame lit in the middle of the chaos. He started saying no. No to laziness. No to just 5 more minutes. No to this is good enough. He started saying yes to small things. Drinking water, studying for half an hour, taking a 10-minute walk. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't exciting, but it was real. And little by little, those small bricks started forming a foundation. Logan realized that real change doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with repetition, with pain, with isolation, with a quiet war inside your own head. The path had no signs, no guide, just him, and the decision to never go back. The first week passed. Logan still wanted to quit every single day, but for the first time in his life, he started actually keeping his promises to himself. He got up early even when he was exhausted, went for a walk even when he didn't feel like it, took cold showers, cut out fast food, started writing everything down. Not because he enjoyed it, not because it was easy, but because he decided to be someone who follows through. He realized that motivation is unstable, and if he waited to feel ready, he'd die waiting. That's when Logan discovered the difference between wanting it and being disciplined. Wanting wants comfort. Discipline wants growth. Wanting wakes up excited and goes to sleep frustrated. Discipline wakes up dragging but sleeps in peace. Logan started building rituals, personal rules, waking up before sunrise, writing down 3 goals a day, moving his body even if just for 15 minutes. No more negotiation. He began to trust himself. For the first time, his inner voice wasn't sabotaging him. It was firm. It was clear. You're going to do it because you said you would. That's when Logan finally realized his life had never been out of control. He had let go of the wheel. He had left everything on autopilot. Now he was holding tight to the wheel even in the middle of the storm. He understood that no one is naturally disciplined. Discipline is built brick by brick, habit by habit, fall by fall. And radical responsibility isn't about blaming yourself for everything. It's about accepting that nobody else is going to fix your life for you. Not your boss, not your parents, not the universe. Logan stopped waiting and started building with fear, with doubt, with failure, but with one unshakable truth. He would never go back to being the man who once gave up on himself. In the early days, the silence bothered Logan. The house felt too big, the routine too repetitive, his mind too loud. He kept grabbing his phone, scrolling social media, videos, voice messages, anything to avoid being alone with himself. But over time, he started to notice a shift. The absence of noise turned into peace. The lack of distractions turned into clarity. Logan started walking without headphones, working out without posting, reflecting without rushing to respond to the world. He started writing more, meditating, listening to his own breath. For the first time, he became a witness to his own transformation. And no, it wasn't easy. Some days the loneliness hit like a punch. The lack of conversation hurt more than any workout. But he learned to tell the difference. Loneliness is absence. Solitude is presence. One weakens you. The other strengthens you. Logan stopped feeling empty and started feeling whole. He realized he had always chased company to run away from himself. But now he was his own best company. His mind was no longer a battlefield. It had become a training ground. He no longer needed validation, no longer needed to look strong. He was strong because he learned how to be strong without an audience. It's in solitude that you meet yourself, that you confront your limits. Logan learned that from the silence. And in the middle of nowhere, he found everything. Time went by. Logan stopped counting the days, stopped marking the calendar. He just did the work, woke up early without an alarm, trained without needing motivation, kept his promises without needing an audience. He wasn't that lost guy anymore, always complaining about life. He was a man in motion, but something started to stir inside him. It wasn't fear of being alone. It wasn't the weight of routine. It was a question that kept growing louder each day. Now what? What do I do with all of this? Because Logan had realized life wasn't just about surviving. It was about transforming. And he knew that thousands, maybe millions, were still stuck where he used to be, lying down, paralyzed, waiting for someone to come save them. He knew what that pain felt like. He knew the shame of dragging through the day. He knew what it was to smile and lie, saying everything was fine. And that's when the calling came, not from the sky, not from the internet, but from inside. Logan didn't just want to get better anymore. He wanted to build. He wanted to turn pain into a tool, wounds into bridges. He wanted his story to mean something to someone, because now he understood it's not about waiting. It's about acting. It's about doing what needs to be done even when nobody's watching. Logan understood the world doesn't need more victims. It needs people who own their lives with courage. And if you're hearing this now, maybe this is your call too. Maybe you don't need a miracle. You just need to decide. Like Logan did, not to be perfect, but to be someone who never runs away from himself again. Logan West didn't become a hero. He didn't make millions. He didn't turn into an influencer. He simply found himself, found peace in the effort, found pride in the simple things. He learned that winning isn't about reaching the top. It's about not giving up on the climb. Logan still messes up, still fails, still has hard days, but he never abandoned himself again. And that is what changes everything. Maybe no one will ever congratulate you. Maybe no one will ever notice your fight. But you'll know. You'll lay your head on the pillow and say, today I was true to myself. That's worth more than applause, more than followers. Because the only person who really needs to believe in you is you. Don't wait to be saved. No one's coming. And that's not a curse. It's a gift. It means you have the power to start over, the power to rebuild, the power to decide that your story doesn't end like this. Logan rewrote his, brick by brick, day by day. Now the question is simple. What about you? Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to start building right now?